Hey guys, what is going on? So today's video, I thought, being as I'm a teenager, technically I'm kind of valid to say some weird things that we all do as teenagers, or that teenagers currently do. But let's go ahead and start the list. So, the first one is not tidying your room. And this is like a common thing of laziness, but when you think about it, it's weird because if you don't tidy your room, you're just going to have to tidy it eventually anyway, so you're just going to have to do more at one point rather than doing something less sooner, if you get what I mean. So basically, by not tidying your room means that you let everything pile up. So instead of just putting like a couple of things away in your room and having it tidy so you know where things are, you're left with a bigger pile of things to put away, which keeps sounding stupid because you're wondering, why did I do that? Why didn't I tidy it sooner? And that's just something really weird. The next thing is leave empty cereal boxes, or not finish the cereal. So if you have a box of cereal and you're pouring it for your breakfast and you come to the last tiny bit, literally there's enough for about one spoonful, and you fill your bowl and you think, okay, that's fine, I don't want any more, and you put the box back in the cupboard for the cereal, when there's nothing left in there for someone to use, it's pointless, so you may as well finish it off. And that goes for juices as well. Like if you have a carton of juice, that you use it and leave a tiny bit at the bottom rather than finishing it, and milk. So basically not finishing things off when it comes to food and breakfast, and that's the kind of thing, you just leave it there when you should have just used it. And I think that's something because our parents usually say, don't use all the juice, don't use all the milk, because like you need to share it out for everyone. So then you kind of have that thing in your head, well, I'm not going to use all of it because then I just used all the juice. You leave a tiny bit left at the bottom, which technically you haven't used it all, so it like makes you feel better in a way. The next one is leaving dirty washing on the floor, and this is kind of the don't tidy your room thing, the laziness thing. But if you like need clothes, like if you have socks and you have a dirty pair of socks and you need to put it in the wash, otherwise it's not going to get clean, so you just throw them on your floor in the night and you're like, okay, you'll do it at a different time. Next morning you're too busy, you forget about it, then the next night the same thing happens, and then they're just piling up in different places in your room until you have big mounds of socks everywhere. And then when it comes to looking in the drawer the next morning for school, and you don't have any socks in your drawer at all because they're all on the floor, and because you haven't put them in the wash, you don't have any socks, so you just gotta pick a dirty pair and put them back on. And that happens with like pants, socks, and clothes especially, but mostly like things like socks and pants, like you don't put them in the wash, and that's just, yeah. The next one is if you want to go out with your friends or you want to look nice, especially for boys, that you never put things back on hangers. So you take things off, throw them back on the chair, throw them on your bed, throw them somewhere, like you just throw them somewhere on the floor. And then you realise when you need clothes or nice clothes for the next day, you put them on and they're all creased and you just can't get the creases out and you don't have time. So not putting things on hangers is another thing that teenagers do that is weird. The next one is wasting the time, and this is a really, really big one which we all do. And if it's like a Saturday, which is today, or a Sunday, and you're bored, you have nothing to do, you're trying to think of something to do, you spend more time thinking of what you're going to do, and then eventually you're sitting on your bed thinking like, okay, we could go out with my friends, you could do this, have a look at the film times, check everything, and then you spend all your time, you waste all your time thinking about what you want to do, and eventually you end up doing nothing. You end up just going to sit down and play games and watching TV after giving up on what you want to do. Just kind of pointless in actually sitting there and spending the time thinking of what you're going to do when you end up doing nothing. The next thing people do, unless they don't have enough money to afford more than one pair of clothes, is wear the same thing over and over again. Wear the same shirt, the same shoes, well, shoes is different, but the same trousers. They wear the exact same clothes every single time you see them. And when you go out, they wear the same shirt, and they don't change it at all. And that is just really weird because you obviously have more than one pair of clothes in your cupboard, and it's not very hygienic if you wear the same pair of clothes every time you go out. Plus, for girls it's kind of different because you feel pressurized in having to wear something else because you don't want to wear the same clothes because, I don't know, it's like one of those social things that girls have. But with boys especially, boys wear the same clothes over and over again, and sometimes people don't notice, but girls especially notice about boys that they wear the same thing. And it's just kind of weird, like why don't we mix things out? Why do we wear the same thing over and over again? The next one, as you can see right now, is play with our hair. Basically, even if you have short hair, long hair, whatever hair, boys and girls always play with their hair, and the hair sometimes is perfectly fine. Like your hair would be in perfect position, but you still just put your hand through your hair and just redo it in the exact same position it was already in. And that's just like, I think it's like a confidence thing, or especially if you're bored or nervous, you like want to try and play with your hair to try and avoid people seeing you or trying to, like, you know, take your mind off things. But it's definitely weird, especially when people do it without noticing. It becomes a habit because you do it so much, and you end up just playing with your hair over and over again throughout the day for no reason whatsoever. Next thing is kind of what we do as children when you pick your noses. And people pick their noses regardless of what age they are, especially teenagers. Like, you're sitting there in class, you're just looking up and you just see some kid looking around, nobody there, they put their hand over their nose, pretend to itch it, and then with the other hand they like start picking their nose, and you're just looking at them like, seriously, you're like 16, you're not 2. And they're just there picking their nose and they don't think anyone can see them. But that is one thing that we all do. Like, if you want to be discreet, just at least like just gently go like that, or just sniff to get if you can feel something, but don't just shove your finger up there and start picking and digging away, because that's completely not cool. And the final thing that's weird that teenagers do is grunt, and it's kind of the universal way of saying yes or comprehending, like saying to someone that you've acknowledged what they've basically said to you. So instead of saying, yeah sure, I'm gonna do that, or if your mum comes in, can you put this away, can you tidy your bed, can you open your curtains, do this and do that, instead of saying, yeah okay I'll do that, yes, 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 which is more universal, for teenagers the universal way of saying yes is going, it's just grunting, you just go, yeah, yeah, mumbling your words and just basically coming out with what is known as a grunt. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This was a list of some weird things that teenagers do. Hope you guys enjoyed and related to any of these. Go ahead and click that like button and comment down below if you related to them. Also subscribe, it would mean very much a lot, if that even makes sense. But anyway, you get the gist. I'll see you guys soon. Have a great day. Bye for now. Adoosh.